Hey, look at, we're red, white, and blue, right?
I'm joking.
Yay! We need to put the man in the middle, right? Yeah. Right? The rose and a thorn. No, that's mean. He's not a thorn. But yeah, so yay!
We were separated. Dad and I are sharing the mic.
Teresa's mic. Can you tell? Yeah, sorry. So hi, everyone. I'll get started while John's getting his mic. We are so excited to be here on Veterans Day. How cool is this? And Pat Scott, was that just the most amazing national anthem you've ever heard? And so Pat and I go way back, and Pat never misses a regional, you guys. She drives every month from Hesperia. Every month, right? And even when it gets dark, she stays late for some of the after parties, and it's dark, and she's driving home in the dark. Talk about commitment. She doesn't miss anything. So proud of you, Pat. Yay. And what else is really cool is John's dad was in the Navy. So that's really near and dear to our hearts. And my father is an Army veteran as well. So very cool. We're really proud of all of that. So did you want to say something? Because I always take over. All right, we're doing the clicker. So most of you know us, and you might be thinking, oh, wait, where's the fourth Downey, right? We might as well address that elephant in the room. And so we just want to tell you, he will be here on the second half by Zoom because he was going to fly in just for this. That was the plan. And he's an Olympic weightlifter just like Misa, but was invited to a very special training camp up in Oregon, right, Mies? And do you want to tell about Pyros Dimas, which is really cool?
Yeah, sure. My brother is with his coach in Oregon at their private gym. So he's been training with them all week. He has a big competition in 4 weeks. So he's at that critical time where he's really focused on training. And we also have a big Worlds competition being hosted in Anaheim. So people from everywhere are coming. It's huge. It's really exciting that we get to host it. And because of that, they're doing Worlds team training. A teammate of his is on the team. And so the most decorated Olympic weightlifter, Pyros Dimas from Greece, actually is now part of the U.S. coaching team. And he is my brother's favorite weightlifter of all time, same weight class. He's shown me videos of him for years when he was trying to get me to start weightlifting. And he was actually at the camp giving my brother one-on-one coaching.
Can you believe it?
Huge.
I
know. He has some amazing pictures and videos. Like, he's beyond excited telling me all about it, telling all of us all about it. So he's at a kind of once-in-a-lifetime experience, but he's going to Zoom with us at the end.
So, and share a little bit with all of you guys. So, yeah, and so to tell you our quick story, did you want to lead it off, or do you want me to?
It started with you.
Okay, yeah. And then this man right here, my amazing 20-year married to husband, told me we should do this, yeah. But I basically, a friend gave me the bottle, just like many of you. And actually, I said, no, thank you. I didn't even try it, guys. So don't give up on your people, because she tried to give it to me, and I said, no, I'm good. No, thanks. And I saw her once a month for about 4 months, and I kept saying no. I knew the businesswoman in me was saying, gosh, if I like it, I'm going to want to go with this company. So it was more, and you know me, I don't like change. I am loyal to a fault. And I knew that I was with another company, and I knew if I like this, I'm going to want to do this company. And what about my other company? What about the people there that we've created that culture with? Anyway, but I went to an event. Miss Linda Lindsay was presenting. And I was blown away, as you all have been, with the caliber of people, right? And, I'm speaking for you, but I know we all are. We're blown away by the quality of people that we attract. And there was a pilot in the room. There was an oncologist. And we heard their stories. And they were just guests checking the product out. And I called John on the drive home. And I go, oh my gosh, I don't know what I just saw, right? Anybody else feel the same? Like the first time you went to an RRP and you hadn't started yet, that was me. I was like, whoa, there is something special going on here. And at that time, we only had the one bottle, the night cream, but we knew it was an accidental discovery, so it wasn't some company that was just trying to make money on people, right? It was that accidental discovery that really grabbed my attention. That the plant-based part for me didn't kick in then, but it does now, knowing how much the world is going green. Everybody wants a green product, right? But I called John and told him, I don't know what I just saw, but we need to talk. And did we talk? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, you talked. So she gets home and just talks and talks and talks. And I could tell how excited she was that she actually saw something. And when she explained it to me, I thought, the business side of it made sense. I wasn't all excited about an anti-wrinkle sauce, which is what I called it. I don't even wash my face. I just let the shampoo run over my face in the shower, and that was it. So when she was telling me about the product, that was one thing, but when she explained the business, it made so much sense. So I said, we have to do this. And when I meant we, I meant she has to do this.
I didn't know that. My whole intent, guess what? When I signed up, I didn't do VikkiDowney.Nerium.com. I was intentional. I didn't even know I was intentional back then, but I was intentional. I chose Downey.Nerium.com because I wanted John sharing with me. That was my whole intent. I'm like, he will not give my website out to people. Not to say he's a male chauvinist, not anything like that, but guys in the room, you're going to want to give your website, right? So anyway, that was just us. I knew he would prefer Downey. And since we were fairly new, we were able to just grab our last name. And so, and then we started sharing. But I'll never forget, he told me, Vic, the next morning we talked about it again, and he goes, I just think we should do this. And it was the key words, we're finally in the right place at the right time for once in our lives. And he said, nobody wants to look their age. I quote you all the time. You might have forgotten what you said, but for years, I've been quoting John. He said, nobody wants to look their age, men or women. And you guys, he's in a very tough guy, men and women are police officers, but it's a macho, if you will, business. It's not a business profession. Thank you. And he's like, even guys don't want to look their age, Vic. And if you have something simple like that, and I think the big thing you hit on. Do you want to talk about barrier of entry really quick? Because I think this is really beneficial.
Yeah. So one of the units we worked a lot of counterfeiting. And let's face it, something's patented doesn't mean there's a guarantee that it won't be copied. In fact, it probably will be copied, and they're copied all the time. Look at all the cheap knockoff watches and purses and bags you see. And in the police, all we do is we collect it all up, somebody gets a slap on the wrist, and they're back out the next week copying something else. So the patent really didn't make that much of a deal to me, but the barrier of entry did. Because if there's a barrier of entry, if they can't copy it, even if they wanted to, they can't counterfeit it. Because Nerium has put into place barriers of entry to stop that. That made sense to me because it protects all of us. If someone's not copying our product, that's saving us.
Right. Because we had seen Mona V and some of the, not to name drop, some of the others, the juices, we can cut that out. Some of the juices, right, that came through our town. Anybody else have, some of these relationship marketing businesses come through your town and people got all hyped up and excited about it and then they were knocked off, found at Costco, Sam's, Trader Joe's, and they're gone, right? And people lost homes, all kinds of things. So that was huge.
Their success was their demise.
Yeah.
As soon as they became successful, the big players came and just knocked it off.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we have with Nerium that is so special. So it was really John, giving me that reassurance. I think we got to do this, right? So I applaud all the men in the room because you guys don't get enough credit. That see the vision of where the company is going. How about the women though too? That maybe the husband was skeptical and the wife goes, no, we got to do this. Let's applaud the women as well. Whoever it was that saw that vision, we're all benefiting from it, right? We're all in a better place. And then Misa's story, go ahead and share. And we're going to weave it throughout too. So
I'll share more throughout just because it ties into a few slides later on. But my mom, of course, is excited. Started Nerium, super pumped, shared it with my brother and I. I had just graduated UCLA at that time, and my brother was in his senior year. And she originally shared the product with us for actually the skincare benefits. We both have had a lot of acne and still dealing with that, a lot of scarring. And so she thought, okay, it's not made for that, but if this can help you guys, why not try it? We've tried so many other product lines, and let's see if this will work for you guys. So that was initially why she shared it. But of course, them being entrepreneurs and business people, obviously wanted us to get started in the business, seeing that vision. However, my brother and I didn't quite see Nerium for us. I can speak for myself that I totally understood the business model, had seen the success that my mom had had in her previous company. I knew it would work. I knew the product worked because I was using it myself. I didn't think that I could do it at the age of 22 when I got started. I thought, oh my gosh, all my friends, they just went to school for business, for pursuing a movie industry careers. I had a lot of friends that were working for Lionsgate, all different kinds of things, accounting. There's no way they're going to want to start a business for themselves when they just spent all these years studying for something else. But I never shared it with anyone. So that's the big takeaway there. I totally assumed everything my friends would say without actually talking to them. So I was actually, my brother and I both were like, okay, Mom, great, all right. And then he and I were living together in LA, and she would, every time she called us, Nerium, 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 and we were like, okay, we get it, great. And it got to the point where we weren't not nice about it anymore because we just didn't see it for ourselves. We hadn't really been to an event. We were very skeptical and just closed off. And we were like, Mom, can you please stop talking to us about Nerium?
Yeah. So then I sicked John on him.
She did.
You talked to him.
She said, they're not listening to me. You have to tell them.
I did. See, so if you're doing that, you're just like us.
Don't.
But then I backed off, didn't I?
Yeah, so
Okay.
the biggest thing I would say, if you have kids that you want to get involved in the business and they're just not open to it, give them some time. Don't totally let go of the idea of it. But it took my brother and I both kind of going through our own experience. I worked at a cupcake bakery, Sprinkles, if any of you have heard of it. Yeah, I was the general manager. So I worked my way up through the company, and I thought I loved it. I thought I was going to open a bakery. That was the whole reason for working there. And I always, like I said, entrepreneur parents, I wanted to own my own business. After working there, I realized I don't want to deal with employees and workers' comp, and I was at the store all the time. I was not seeing my friends, and that's when I came back to Nerium, because of course my mom's posting on Facebook. If any of you are friends with her on Facebook, you know she's always posting on Facebook how much fun they're having, the trips that they were going on, conferences, you're just seeing so much of the culture, and that's what spoke to me. So something touches you different, sometimes some people want the money, some people want the time freedom. I wanted to be around positive, like-minded people at that time. Just from where I was at. So don't give up on them, but let them kind of come to you. Let them have their own experience. Let them see the fun that you're having. I think that's the biggest thing. This business is fun. Look at all of us together. We love coming to these events because we're around positive people. We don't get that out in the real world. We're surrounded by so many other things, and people are complaining to you left and right. And here, very rarely do you hear someone complain. They're excited to see you. You get so many hugs. You're surrounded by so much love and positivity. So don't forget to show that as a little side note, because that's what actually drew me in. And I actually called her and said, I need to leave Sprinkles. I need to get out of here. Mm-hmm. And how can I do that with Nerium? Is what cool? I had told them. Yeah. And we had so many conversations. And I'll get into it a little bit more on the happiness, on Live Happy. But it took me 2.5 years to finally come around. Yeah. It wasn't until,
she sponsored 3 in the beginning. She, and earned you Fast Start qualified or iPad?
Not my iPad. I got my iPad
on the reset. If anyone remembers that. But but then backed off. So again, we want you guys to think about if you have some family members, they can come back around. She kept her product was coming. They love the product and all that. Yeah, so awesome. Well, and you know what else is funny? Is Anna here right now? Okay, the personality, we were chatting about this. We had a big eye-opener, I think, at the conference when Anna talked about, a couple times, at the EPIC event and then also at the national conference when she trained on the personality types. Can you guys guess what we are? Does anyone want to guess? Maybe you don't want to.
Ooh, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Anybody want to step on that one?
But the main thing is we're achievers.
Yeah.
Our entire family, the four of us, we call ourselves the Four Musketeers. We are achievers. I mean, yeah. So, but part of that personality, it was funny. Why is everybody laughing? Were you making a funny face? No. Misa was.
No. We do?
Go on.
Anyway.
Go on, Musketeer.
Okay, yeah, Musketeer. All for one and one for all. So, anyway, I will circle back around. EHT helps me go off on a tangent and come back. So thank goodness for that, right? But what we found out is we do not like being told what to say. That was part of Anna's training on an achiever. What color is that?
Red.
I forgot. Red. We are all three red with a secondary. Everyone thinks I'm yellow because I'm that party girl, but oh my gosh, core. Driven, and you're red, and what were you? Were you also yellow?
I'm red and yellow.
Oh, we are all the same.
John is also red, probably green.
Okay, but it was funny because John. How many of you have tried to coach your spouse, not meaning to, maybe, or a child in the business, right? Or give ideas on what to, because people are asking, right? I love it. Well, guilty, right? And after Anna's training, I realized I should not be telling anyone of the family what to say, because that was the biggie. That, okay, yeah.
Hence why it took me 2.5 years.
Yeah. But I'm so used to training people, I think, and people will ask you, well, what do you say to this person? What do you say to that? So it's now become kind of a habit. So now when we're all prospecting, I'll say, you got to send this video, do this, and they'll look at me like, really? Don't tell me what to do.
Think we know what to do.
As if we couldn't put a sentence together. It's like...
She just likes to talk through conversations. Oh my gosh, they said this, so then you're going to say this, and then...
Some of you guys know that are on our team.
It's fun.
But anyway, yeah, so it's that personality... teaching training that Anna does, I think it's awesome because it really will help you with different and you're going to have all personality types on your team. And the reason I bring it up today, we're going to jump into the slides now, is was I good when we were going over it? I didn't tell anybody what to do, right, or say, because I'm trying to learn.
No, you did.
I did.
You did.
I didn't think I did.
She wanted to write it all down.
So I wrote down notes I said, well, then I'm going to write notes for myself then.
And I'll write down your notes too in case you want to look at them.
So anyway, but see, we have fun in Nerium, don't we? Right? And we can laugh at ourselves, right? Don't take ourselves too seriously. Yay. Okay, so I already forgot. See, I need my notes. It was me first. Okay, so, oops. So the products, right? I mean, hands down, how many new people do we have? This is your first regional training. Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fantastic. Congratulations for being here. Proud of you guys. You could be anywhere, right? It's a beautiful day today. So glad you're here, though. But our products, right? Is that what attracted most of the guests in the room? Raise your hand again if that was the products that got you interested, right? Okay, awesome. So we know how fantastic they are. And now walking into the wellness space and all the stories, that's definitely, Anna Camp touched on that at our Nerium Leadership Academy. And I remember being told that at the atrium when I went to my first market party, being told by a high-ranking leader, we are the highest paid storytellers in the world. So if you can be great at telling a story, you're going to be successful in Nerium. And that's really what we should be doing. You should not be talking about all the ingredients and exactly what it's going to do for the person. You're going to bore them to death, for one, except maybe the engineer type, right? But it's better to give them the box, give them a magazine, give them a third-party tool so that you're modeling the right behavior, right? I know in the beginning I crippled parts of my business because I did talk too much. I shared too much information. So the more that you can just tell a story about EHT and how it's working for you personally or someone you know, tell a story about, and a lot of times in the beginning, I shared our son John's story. I said, I can't wait for you to try this night cream. See my son, this is my son John. This is his results after about 6 months of use. And we had taken him to every dermatologist. He was using every product, oral antibiotics. We even did laser refractal surgery on him, which has huge downtime. So I actually tell all of that. And Nerium is the only thing that's helped. And that's it. And they're like, okay, I'll try it, right? So tell stories is my main point, and same with the wellness products. Tell them how it's working for you. You can even say things like, I don't even know what it's doing. All I know is I feel better. I have more energy. You know, simple stories. Okay.
Okay, now, so how many people in the room here were more attracted to Nerium by the business side of it, right? Yeah, exactly. So you guys get to raise your hand now, too. So we understand what this business model is all about. The thing, Misa touched on it earlier that we were entrepreneurs, so a little bit about that. We actually, when I was still in college, I started a business. It was just a conventional brick and mortar business, an absolute nightmare, because you have to deal with employees and all the taxes and insurance and the building leases. It was just a complete nightmare. Inventory, returns, accounts receivable, people that wouldn't pay us, and so I finally gave that thing up. And I was just done with it, and that was the best thing in the world. It would just lift such a weight off my shoulders. And then I thought, I'll get a regular job, and then I became a cop.
And that's more headaches.
Yeah, a whole different kind of headache. But I always said I always wanted to own a business again, and I would own a business again, but it was going to be the right business. I was going to do it smart this time. And when Vikki came home that night, actually driving home and started talking, and she said she started talking again about it in the morning. I don't think she ever stopped all night long. I just finally fell asleep. But
I'm not that bad.
When we saw it, though, this was that business. We were in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I've already touched on it a little bit, but our culture, and that we're just about giving back. We're all about real people. Something I didn't share, which actually really got me to take a look at Nerium, was my parents encouraging my brother and I to come to an event. And luckily at that time, right when we were showing some interest, we had a conference in Long Beach. If any of you were there or remember it, that was the first conference I went to. And she was like, you just have to come. It's only for this day. Just please come. I want to introduce you to Micaiah. And she wanted, and that was huge. She was trying to connect me with somebody that was in our age range, somebody else I could relate to. And you guys all know this. We always say mirror match, connect people with someone they can relate to. But that conference changed everything. I went. My brother went and his girlfriend, and we're all brand partners, obviously. But it just changed everything for us. And we got to see John C. Maxwell speak at that one, which was huge, and just totally opened our eyes to, okay, we can do this. Like, after that, we knew we could do it. It was just actually getting to work. But that was huge. So that's part of our culture, just bringing people to events. I can't say it enough. Bring people to market parties, get them to RRPs. Try not to just have it be over the phone or a text or an email. People want to connect. Even if they don't tell you that, or even if you don't think that about them, maybe they seem like they're such a business person. They want to connect with people. We all want to connect. And that's something that we have that is different than any other company out there. And I know you guys know that, but just connect people.
Yeah. And so I caught something you said there about I said something about come for one day. Yeah, I forgot about that. So that first day, did you feel like, gosh, I want to come back? And then you came,
I think we came on a Sunday.
Oh, so
because I had just done a show, a bodybuilding show, and you had said, are you guys free? It's Sunday. It's like the last day. Can you come?
Yeah.
And she just had us, and we just drove down for the day. And it was huge. It was totally, like I said, eye-opening, and it changed everything. After that, haven't missed a conference. I love going to events. I love going to especially our conferences, but haven't missed one. And that was totally it. That was what changed it for me. Not to say, that's the only way to change someone's mind or open up their eyes is bringing them to a national conference, but bringing them to an event, bringing them around the people, letting somebody else talk about Nerium and not you.
Yeah.
Letting them not even talk about Nerium with someone at an event, and just, like I said, connecting. Oh my gosh, you also, so many people will introduce me to their guests that are into fitness, and I can just talk about fitness with their guests for a while, and then they go, so you really, this is all you do, really?
Yeah.
But I got to build a relationship with them, talking about weightlifting or powerlifting or whatever they're into, and they trust me, and and their friends just standing there like, they're connecting.
Right. It's true.
But that's what it's about. People want to trust people. They want to get to know you, and then they're so intrigued about, wait, this can't be all you do, right?
Yeah.
You do something else. And I'm like, no, this is it.
Yeah. Amazing. Awesome. All right. So, and you all know Nerium's vision, and this is in your success planner. If any of the new people brought their success planner, I highly recommend that you take that everywhere you go when you're brand new. That planner is basically your Nerium Bible, and that's in your starter kit. And I tell people, keep that on your hip. Your first 6 months to a year, bring it to every regional. It has all of these pages in it that we're talking about, but it also has places for you to map out your goals, where you're going to do your first RRPs, right? Your launch party. It gets you thinking, but it was put together by the top NMDs in Nerium, right? To streamline our business so that you know exactly what to do. Kind of, what's that yellow thing? Do they still have it? It's like you read a book, but Cliff Notes. It's kind of like Cliff Notes when you're in college, right? How many people cheated in college and didn't really read the whole book? They did the Cliff. Anyway, but it's like Cliff Notes for Nerium. No joke. Get that and go through it. If as a new brand partner you haven't, I highly recommend that. Mine is tattered and torn. I came to a first training when on a camp, was at the regional in the Grove, and I remember being so proud of myself. I had my success. She had asked me, don't forget to bring it, or told me, I think, and I'm like making sure she can see that I brought it, but full of information. And, in there it talks about authenticity. Am I being authentic with you guys right now? Yes, right? And that's what drew me to Nerium for sure, that it wasn't a bunch of people hoity-toity or just so educated they're pompous, right? And they're not going to talk to you about show who they really are. No, I love that our company is real. And you know what else? Being an ex-teacher, who loves that they define the word real in a lot of our documentation and in our beginning videos on the box? That, to me, that just spoke to my heart, because how many times would we say, go look it up, a word, right? And now you just Google it. But to me, that was powerful, that this company was going to put a target on them. If they weren't real, right, they'd be found out. They're not going to brand themselves as a real company based on real results, real people, if they weren't. And anybody else get inspired by that? I love that, and I love that it's authentic. Yeah.
And then we have character. So how cool is it that we have core values? A lot of companies talk about core.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of companies talk about core values, but they don't actually live it. And this company, from the very top down, lives character, integrity, and that's reflected in all of you guys too. And like Misa said, if you have someone new, bring them to a live event so they can meet you guys, because they see that character, they see that integrity, and it's important.
And we also give back. You guys know this. We have our Ripple Foundation. We have Big Brothers, Big Sisters, World Vision, and I just think that's huge. We started that from day one. Jeff Olson knew he wanted to give back. We started in the U.S., so of course it was Big Brothers, Big Sisters. You guys know we've donated over $4.5 million. We've passed Nike, we've passed Bank of America as their largest corporate donor, so that's something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just love that. And so many people, like I said, like we were talking about the personality types, some people are attracted to giving back. You know, maybe they're at a great place in their life, but they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves and to contribute more. And this is exactly what we have with Nerium. So we have so many different facets to this company. And it's huge to highlight that because other companies aren't as involved as we are in their community. And that's so, so, so special.
It really is. And you didn't say nipple. Sorry. I had to throw in some humor because we were talking about this slide and Misa goes,
Monique?
I just pray I don't say Nerium Nipple Foundation because a couple people have done it because the N and the N, right? So anyway, she didn't do it. Yay. We gotta have fun, right? Okay.
She said, she's like, you should just say it on purpose.
Yeah, well done. So, Misa.
Yes. Okay. So the happiness movement.
They're still laughing.
Now we're gonna try to bring it back. Everybody, focus again. But what I had shared a little bit about my story. What I didn't share was at Sprinkles. As the general manager, I was actually in a kind of dark place for me mentally. I am a very positive person. I'm the morning person. Like, I get up. I used to, in high school, get up at like 5:30 in the morning. Like, I don't know why. I just like to start my day. I wasn't a huge fan of sleep. You can ask my mom. I just felt like I could be doing something else with my time. Like, I don't want to sleep. Like, I have other things I want to do. And so I've always been a morning person, kind of the like, never snooze the alarm, like it goes off and I'm like jumping out of bed, and friends have always been like, what are you doing? Why are you so happy in the morning? That's just me. I love mornings. I love getting my day started. I love having things to do. But what I found with Sprinkles, it sounds like it would be so much fun, right? It's a cupcake bakery. Like, how could it not be happy? But as the manager, it's a little different when your kitchen staff is acting up and your managers are acting up and then your front of the house is acting up and they're not all getting along with each other. And then your customers are in LA and Beverly Hills, so they...
Snobby, sorry.
She said it.
Sorry, I didn't just say that. No.
They're very demanding.
I'm kidding.
They're often very demanding, and the cupcakes are a decent price, so I get it. They want, what they're paying for. But it became a lot, and I didn't have an assistant manager. I was the only store in the company without one. The company saw that everything was going well at my store, so she doesn't need any help. And deep down, I needed help. I didn't need help, I guess, physically. I needed that emotional and, mental break that I wasn't getting, because I didn't have somebody else to rely on. If anyone called out sick, it was up to me, unless somebody else picked up the shift, which, of course, they aren't, because they're all actors and actresses. Yeah. So, it all fell on me. Sometimes I was there from 7 in the morning until, 10 p.m., different events that we had. It was a lot. And, I loved being in that, but I needed help, and I had asked for help, and long story short, they weren't giving me that. And I started feeling like I was depressed. I had never gone to the doctor for it, but I started feeling that way. And I didn't want to get up in the morning. Sorry. And I knew something was wrong.
Do you want a hug?
Thank you. So I knew I had to get out of there. And that's when I called my parents and said, something has to change. I was crying to my mom every night. Because of that schedule, I'm not seeing my friends. They all have kind of 9-to-5 jobs. So I just felt very alone. Ugh. And that's why I say the culture and the people attracted me, because I was missing that. So the happiness movement. My mom shared Live Happy with me. I'm going to try to cheer myself up. So the first thing she did was she gave me the first ever Live Happy magazine, and she said, just read this. I was doing bikini competitions back then, so I now do weightlifting only. But I started doing bikini competitions, and that was something for me. And it was something that, I could take that time. I would get up at 4 in the morning and go to the gym before work at Sprinkles. And she said, just put this on the elliptical or the Stairmaster or whatever you're doing and just read an article or two. So that's how I started, and that's what really drew me in. So share those magazines. I know they're online now, but you can get print copies still. But I encourage you, just share that as an exposure. Don't even mention Nerium, and just hand someone a magazine. I did that with a teammate of mine when she was struggling a little bit too. And I just gave her Live Happy. And she read the entire thing and was like, oh my gosh, I need to give that back to you. Like, she started talking to me about articles from there. Wow. And she's totally now, she's not a part of Nerium, but maybe. But she's talking to me about everything even David Bird is talking to us about our emotions and how, certain things. Some of you may have heard what he's talking about with meditation and all that. So I say share that. You never know what someone's looking for, and people didn't know that about me. People didn't know I was feeling so down and so, sad all the time, except for my parents or super close friends. But from the outside, I've got to go to work. I'm at a happy place. We have to be like, hey, welcome to Sprinkles. So from the outside, I looked perfectly happy, but I wasn't. So the happiness movement, I just can't say enough about it, and I'm so thankful that Jeff created Live Happy, has given so much to that magazine and to that kind of organization, and that they give that to all of us and our preferred customers, as you guys all know. But it's huge, and we all know that happiness comes before success. Everything comes down to, your mindset, how you're feeling, and that it's priceless.
Awesome. Awesome. Yay.
All right, so the qualities of a brand partner. This is really no different than if you're an employer and you're looking to hire an employee, or if you're a coach and you're looking for a great athlete, right? I think the first two things are you can kind of cultivate some of that in people, because that burning desire, a lot of people have just been beaten up by life so much that they've kind of settled for mediocrity, and maybe they don't dream that much and they don't have really a desire any longer because they've just been beaten down. So I think you can kind of help people along with that. And I think also with the coachable and teachable part, because a lot of people say they are, and they may not.
Yeah, right.
Who has someone in their organization? No, we're going to get into that. But truly, if you're a good example of that, if you're truly coachable and teachable yourself, I think you can lead by example, and they can kind of get on board and kind of follow along. The willingness to work part can't be cultivated, right? Because some people either have a good work ethic or they're lazy. And if they don't have that good work ethic, I don't know if I want someone like that. They're just it's going to, like Misa said, it's like pushing a wet noodle uphill, because you're constantly going to have to be motivating them. And I remember Chuck Noll, which is a great football coach from back in the past, back in the 70s and 80s with the Steelers. He's not a motivational guy. He was just basically, he felt his job as a coach was to teach players to be the best that they can be at their position. So he was just teaching and training, but not motivating. And one of his players asked him, hey, how come you don't do a motivational talk? How come? Because it would help me. I want to be motivated. He said, if I have to motivate you, I'll fire you. So it shows that how much work that is. If you have someone who doesn't have that willingness to work, it's so much more work for you.
Yeah, and John was a football coach for our son, so yeah, and we're a huge football family. So yeah, we have lots of references to sports, right? How many of you guys have sponsored some athletes, right? Their work ethic is incredible, for sure, yeah. All right, it was just slow, sorry. No. That was the next one, yes. The guy with the low-cut shirt that Jason pointed out last week. It is funny.
I cannot look at that thing slide again the same way.
And the previous one, I wish they would put a man and a woman. It really bothers me. I love being part of Nerium, that it's men and women. Do you guys? Love it, right? And I wish there was a man and a woman on each of these slides. So anyway, let's pretend. But, oh, yes, so let's focus on that. The man and the woman. Right, awesome. Thank you.
But the shirt is like a train wreck. You can't look away.
I know. So basically, who's loving start.nerium.com? Are you guys loving it? Who has not gone there yet? You're a current brand partner or you're even brand new. Who's willing? Maybe they don't want to raise their hand. You don't have to. Okay, a couple people are willing to admit they haven't. I highly recommend everyone today, put that on your to-do list for today or tomorrow. Go to start.nerium.com because you want to, first of all, know what your new brand partners are going to be trained on and be seeing, right? So you can explain it to them why they want to go there. But second of all, to re-sponsor yourself, right? Don't we need that sometimes? We need to re-sponsor and remind ourselves why we started this when we have some of the ups and downs of what business creates, right? There's no straight shot, as Jeff always talks about, to success. It's like this. Wait, I should go this way. Wait, up and to the right. I was going right the first time, right? It's like this. So love that. And if you are brand new in the room, make sure you've done a Fast Start game plan with your sponsor or someone in your upline support team. You definitely want to do that. And you can redo a Fast Start game plan as well, or just a game plan. If you've been in for a while and you feel like you need that, call someone and let them walk you through getting going again. Draw a line in the sand and get going again. All right, dreaming big with Nerium. Let's see. I think it's going slow because I pushed it. Yeah. Oh, darn. You know what we forgot? Oh, shoot. We had something really special planned. We'll just tell you. Because we brought a ton of stuff, so we left it. Yeah, okay, so what also, was this my slide?
We had a new car for everybody, sorry.
That's right, yeah.
Mom.
Was this my slide? It was all of us. So I'll just go back in time. We actually got, when we had that traditional business that John talked about, it was an automotive accessory store, really fun for guys in the room, right? That was back in the day when Momo wheels and tires were popular. Are they still? And that was when vinyl black car bras were in. This was in the 80s and 90s, not the clear bras now. But it was a fun business, and we were approached on Amway at that time. And it was when we were noticing how tough traditional business is and all the trappings that John talked about. And we started in the Amway business, and that was our first introduction to network marketing, relationship marketing. And we said, why doesn't every company work the way network marketing companies do, where it behooves you to help people get going, have success, then you're rewarded, right? Why isn't it all corporate America or traditional businesses like that? And it's just not, right? So that is exclusive to our business model. But back then, we started making dream boards. Yeah, so did you want to share that part with the kids? And Misa was 5. You were 5. I was 95. Misa was 5. John was 4.
And we actually they encouraged John and I to make dream boards then. So we cut up magazines. We still have them actually. So
and we meant to bring those.
Yeah, we just wanted to share that how powerful it is to dream at any age. And fortunate enough for myself and my brother, my parents started us very young. So we've always dreamed. We've always never been afraid to say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this or I'm going to go here. And it's just been like, yeah, that's what's going to happen. And I believe it's because of that, just always sharing with us that dreaming side. So we still have mine. There's a gold watch on there because I wanted a watch. I was 5. There's a girl in like a pretty little dress, and I cut out my face and put my face on her body because I liked her dress. There's some Oakley sunglasses. There's skiing with a family, the parents and 2 kids, because that was us. We were going to ski. What else was on there? I don't know. But just to show
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse, too.
Yeah, so you guys, probably for Disneyland.
Yeah.
That we encourage you to make dream boards, and that's how powerful it is. And we just wanted to share, like, we've been dreaming for many, many decades now, and you guys have been making dream boards. They still have theirs back from Amway. So it's so powerful, and that's kind of what we wanted to connect with part of this slide.
And be careful what you put on there, because you'd be surprised how powerful it is. We had a dream board we did a while ago, and I don't know if you remember that, but we went to, we were invited by Audi to go to an event out at the raceway out in, was it? Yeah. that raceway, and we got to drive their R8 race car, an RS5, and a bunch of all their sports cars, but their sports design cars, not the regular A5s and A4s, but the kind of the race cars. And we took a family picture in front of an RS5, and it happened to be a kind of a whitish one. They call it Suzuka Gray. And so we took a picture in front of that car, and I printed it and put it on the dream board. And I completely forgot about that, and we went to a different dream board. We ended up buying a Suzuka Gray RS5 years later. And it was when I was going through my stuff, I realized that we had taken that picture in front of that car.
Yeah, you showed me. That's crazy. Those of you that have done dream boards, you see it, right? Don't you? You're like, oh my gosh, we got that Suburban, right? It happens. Yeah, definitely.
We even you guys had one from Amway days, and it said Japan, Australia, Europe.
Oh, that's right.
Right? Yes, that's right. We just pulled that out. We're like,
did you know the order that it happened in Nerium was Japan, Australia, Europe?
Isn't that nuts? Yeah.
So
it's not random.
Yeah,
crazy. That's right. It was 3 words cut from a magazine.
Yeah, we were just looking it up. Oh my gosh, look at these old dream boards. And I went, Mom, oh my God.
Unbelievable. So it's powerful. So if you haven't done a dream board yet, do get that solidified in your mind why you're doing this business, for the tough days, for the times when you don't feel, just like you don't want to go to work some days. You're going to have days like that in Nerium. You don't want to work your Nerium business. Yeah, every day John doesn't want to.
I don't want to go to work every day.
And that, it doesn't change just because you have your own business and you think you should be all fired up every day, right? It doesn't, we're human beings. It happens. And so having your why so solidified on what you want and in front of your face, make it your screensaver, right, on your phone. Make it out, put it all over your house, pictures of it. And, but I love you. John made a good point when we were talking about this. Did you want to talk about how your why doesn't have to be huge yet? Did you want to do that, or do you want me to continue? Maybe it was Misa. Sorry.
That's okay. I was going to say, for anyone that's new, or maybe you haven't been a big dreamer, we've done that before, where we've tried to help someone dream big and they just weren't ready to expand their mind to that place yet. And that's okay. But start wherever you're at. We're all in different places. Start where you're at. Make a dream board. Push yourself a little bit and go, okay, maybe I do want that. But also don't be so afraid of this why thing, because we talk about your why and how powerful it has to be. Maybe in the beginning, you're not sure what your why is. Or it's something like, for me, for example, it was to leave sprinkles. Once I leave sprinkles, what's my why now? It's okay if it's like that. It's okay if it's make $1,000 a month. It's okay, and then you surpass that. It's great because your why is constantly changing, and you're going to start checking those things off from your dream board and things that might have been your why, and you'll really start to solidify it and connect to it. But just start. That's the biggest thing. Don't feel like it's some daunting, oh my gosh, what's my greater purpose? You don't have to you don't have to overwhelm yourself with it. We just want you to connect to something, to find something that really speaks to you and is inspirational and motivational to you, and build from there.
Yeah, I totally agree. Does anyone feel that way? Is anyone willing to raise their hand? I'm not sure what my why is, and and whatever you choose at the moment, it's good. It's your why. It's good enough. And also, I want to point out, some people like us, and we haven't discussed this at all, but for me, for a while, being an achiever, that was my why. I just wanted to hit the iPad, right? I just wanted to fast start qualify, whatever it is, get the car. I am an achiever. So there's nothing wrong with also your why being just achievements. Because I think people think it has to be a thing, right? So that's okay too. Anything works for each of you. And then the big dreamers, or people that are ready, David Bird has connected with Mind Movies. And yes, and Anna Camp in the back has an amazing Mind movie. It's an app. And David can get us a discount by going through his site. Is it like 10% off? Is it working? 10% off, because the app itself is what, like $89. It's not cheap, but you could put your own pictures and your own words to music, and you don't have to be this wazoo techie, right? You can even choose pictures that are part of Mind Movies and pick from there. too. So anyway, you can look into that. Check with your upline on that if you want to make a mind move for yourself. Because I know I was with Anna Camp in New York. We won a recruiting contest with Anna, and well, actually we were runners up, but we got to go. I got to go, and Anna watches. She's not joking when she says she watches her mind movie every day. She actually watches that, and that keeps. Right, I'm speaking for you, Anna, but in the forefront of her mind, why she's doing this. So I highly recommend. I've started putting mine together, haven't finished it yet, but I highly encourage that as well. All right, so was this me? Was I continuing on this? Do you guys remember? So the daily goals, weekly, monthly. Actually, Misa and I were chatting about this, where you set goals and then work backwards. I like to do that. Does anyone else? You have the end goal in mind, and then you work backwards, figuring out, okay, what do I need to do to achieve that end goal, right? So that's where daily, weekly, and monthly goals come in. Where you're going to be obviously doing 2 a day as part of your daily goals. And weekly, you may plan to do 1 RRP a week, and we're going to talk about that later. How many sit-downs? 2 sit-downs a week, right? And monthly goals, where you want to be, and like Dale Munger talks about, it doesn't have to be a rank goal. It could be a volume. I want to increase my volume by another 1,000 this month by the end of the month. Right? But you want to have that all mapped out for you, because what do they always say? Oh, there's dream boards. I got distracted. What do they always say? If you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. You're going to just meander through life without a roadmap and a goal, an ending point of where you want to be per month. Did you want to touch on that road? He's really good. I always say the secret weapon. There's so much I've shared. You guys, this is one of the first time you're hearing from John, right? But so much of my stuff that I've shared, I get from him. For the market parties, I always ask, what should I say here? You have such good, what's the word? Analogies. He has amazing analogies, so I'm going to keep bugging you to share your analogies. Okay, now this is yours. Yeah.
Is it going to do the little thing? Is it going to do the little bouncing things
This
over?
is fun, right? Do you guys
So really, this is all we do, right? We just take people, yeah, there it goes, that don't know about Nerium to knowing about Nerium.
Yeah. Isn't that cool?
I just get mesmerized by it. This is cool. This is so much better than the guy with the shirt unbuttoned down here. No, but really, that's all we do. And when I realized that, it made it so much simpler for me to share, especially with the guys at work, because sharing an anti-aging skincare product, which is what we started with other policemen, got really weird. Not going to lie, they thought I was really weird. But being able, just telling them about the company, and I think the way I finally did it, and it seemed like it made sense, and it worked really well for me, was just piquing interest and not really telling them anything. Just pique their interest, and then a third-party tool, which we all know, right? But that's the key. So it took me a while to figure that out, but that was all it was. And that was just moving people from one side to the other, like you just did, Vic. Keep going.
The next one.
Oh, and so, okay, so we understand this whole system, right? The whole thing about piquing interest, using third-party tools, and then follow-ups and 3-way calls. Make sure that we use the word call in there. It's not a 3-way, it's a 3-way call. Because that, right? It's kind of weird, because I worked Vice for years, and it was weird because we always say, hey, we want to expose people. Expose 2 people a day. Well, if you expose 2 people a day, you're going to be in jail. I'm just telling you. And then it's weird because, like, if I expose, and how weird does this sound? If somebody were listening and didn't know anything about the business, and I say, yeah, hey, I exposed this guy today, really cool. He had his kids with him, right? And then I got him on a 3-way with Dale. That just is weird. So I think the way this system works is more or less for like cold market, right? Because you don't know the person, so all you want to do is pique their interest and just get them a third-party tool. And then just make sure you follow up and keep just repeating that, because it's going to take several exposures before they finally get to the point where you're sponsoring them. But going from just meeting them and talking to them and trying to pique their interest to sponsoring is too big a leap, right? You're just making your job so much harder. So I think make it as easy as possible, and the easiest way to do this is just follow the system. Just pique their interest. Don't vomit Nerium on them. If they ask you, and when I do it, when I finally tell them a little bit about the business, or if I'm going to give them a third-party tool, I always have an exit strategy. I'm always about to leave because they're going to bombard me with questions, and I'm going to feel compelled to answer those questions. And if I answer the questions, I'm out, right? It's not going to work. So I always have it just where I'm, oh, gosh, look at the time. I got to run. But, hey, let me get your email address and your phone number. I'll send you some information. It may not be for you, but, hey, just check it out. We'll talk in a couple of days. And that's how I leave it.
Can you elaborate on that? Because we've sponsored 9 or 10. Oh, Dale's here. Sorry.
Hey, how was that three-way, buddy?
Can you elaborate on, he drives people nuts. He'll come home from work and say, oh, it was awesome today. I got this guy really interested. And he tells me about how you just go ahead. When you...
Oh, okay. So the whole thing, I use a lot of FORM. You guys all know what that is, right? That acronym, Family, Occupation, Recreation, Motivation. It's just a great conversation piece, or at least it's an icebreaker, especially with people that I don't know real well and I haven't built a rapport or a relationship with them. So it's good for cold market, and it's even good for people that you kind of occasionally see, just an acquaintance. And I use FORM like crazy. And it gives me a lot of ammunition then, because I find out a little bit about them, or actually a lot about them. As I ask them those questions, it looks like I care, because I do. And I listen to what they say. But think about it. How many people do you talk to during the day that they don't care they don't care about talking to you? They're just going through the motions. Hey, how was your day? And you could say it was really bad. I had a finger amputated. They probably would just go, oh yeah, well great. You know, it's going to be cloudy next week, I hear.
Yeah.
So I go through the form and I get a lot of information. I really listen to what they say. I do more listening than talking. As you can tell, I don't talk a lot, so I just like to ask questions about them and listen. And then that gives me some ammunition later, because I know what their hot buttons are. Maybe they say that they would love to go on a nice vacation with their family, but they can't afford it. So that's what I'm going to hit on. Hey, you know, I found a way through a project that we're working on that I can afford to go on some nice vacations with my family. And just kind of pique their interest a little bit in using the form. And then when I finally, and they'll ask me questions. They'll try and ask, hey, so what do you do? I change the subject and go back to form and keep asking them questions. Well, it drives them nuts, because it's killing them, because they really want to know. And sometimes, and if it's someone I know that I'm going to see again, I still won't tell them. I won't even give them a third-party tool yet. I just want them to stew on that, and it's driving them nuts. And sometimes I've had guys just finally call me and said, hey, look, we talked yesterday. I got to know. What is it you're doing? And then I said, well, if you really want to know, come with me. We'll go to a market party, basically, is what I invite them to. But it's always something, but it just keeps them, the more you play that game, I think, the more curious they get, and I think the more interested they are when they actually see the material that you're going to give them, the third-party tool.
Yeah, I love it. I'm trying to get better at that, right? We're all trying to get better. And John is a pro at that. Cold market, oh my gosh, I've learned so much. Because I'll talk to anybody about anything. Oh my gosh, at Costco, oh, do you like those hamburgers? Oh, you know, how do they taste, right? I don't have a problem with that, but I get so freaked out about getting to know someone and getting their information about the business. And I've learned from you, because he's just so down to earth. Can you give another example of total cold market that you can think of?
Yeah, so we're getting the tires rotated on the car. And that, I don't know if you guys have ever been to America's Tire, but you spend like the entire day down there. Just for them to rotate. And they don't have your car very long. When they take it back there, they're done like in 10 minutes. But you wait for hours. So I'm waiting, and I see a guy walk out, and he's wearing a Raiders shirt. And I'm not a huge Raiders fan, right?
Sorry, there probably are some Raiders fans. Couple of Raiders fans.
But they're going to beat the Bills.
Oh!
Yeah, I know. So I see this guy, and I think, you know what? I'm going to strike up a conversation. I'm just looking for something that we can maybe have something in common we can talk about. So as he walks out, I ask him about the Raiders, and he says, yeah, he's from Oakland. And so we get to talking, and the more we talk, I find out a little bit about his family. His son's playing football, and they're playing a Corona Centennial, which is right across the street or right down the street from the America's Tire. So we get to talking a lot about those things. I'm learning about what he does for a living and all that other good stuff. And it turns out it was an easy third-party tool that I could get to him, because it was an easy contact. Because we'd already talked, we'd already connected, and I knew I would never see him again. So I knew I had to do all of this in the next few minutes. But I was waiting to tell him about the business. I just kept piquing his interest a little bit, and I waited until they actually brought my car out because that was my exit strategy. Because if I told him too early, I'd be stuck there for an hour having to answer questions, and you can only avoid them for so long. So when they finally bring the car out, he mentions, oh, nice car. I'm all, yeah, great. I said, yeah, it is. It's a nice car. Thank goodness for our home-based business, because I could never afford this car if it wasn't for that business. And then that's when he finally said, hey, I got to know, what is it that you do? And I said, well, I've got to run, because it took a lot longer to sit here waiting for them to rotate 4 tires than I expected. I got to run, but I'd be happy to send you some information. It may not be for you, and you may not even qualify. But you know what? Let me send you some information. And
He
right?
always says that.
Who wants that taken away from him? Because I just basically said, hey, you may not be good enough for this. So he's like, hell no, I qualify. So I do that. He takes my phone, he gives me all his info, and then I send him the information.
Yeah.
And it's simple.
So, yeah, really good. And then did you want to hit on posture here, too, or are we going to do that later?
See how she gets? Okay, so posture. I always want to keep posture, and I learned this in the police department, that when we interrogate, because I worked for detectives for a few years, but when you interrogate someone, you always want to be the one asking questions because you have control. And I know you guys know that. So if you're the person asking questions, you have control. When I run form, when I'm going through form with people, I'm asking them questions. They'll ask me a little bit about me, generally. I'll answer real quick, but I go right back to asking questions because I want to be in control. And sometimes I'll talk to someone who tries to take that posture away from me, and they try and act like, well, I'm too good for that. Well, then I get it right back. And there was one guy in particular that was just playing that game like, oh, this is network marketing. I'm better than that. So then I finally ended it because I knew this was going nowhere, and I'm not going to get into that argument with him. So I wanted to end it with posture, and I said, you know what? Sorry, Tony, I totally mistook you. I thought you were a little smarter, and I thought you were a little more business-minded. Evidently, I was wrong. But hey, you have a good day, brother. And I left. He called me 5 minutes later, wanting to know information about the business. He said, well, you know, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I do want to look into it.
Right. So, I mean, you have to be selective when you do that, obviously. But, yeah, posture.
Yeah, because either they're going to walk away or they're going to punch you in the mouth. It's one of the two.
But think about it. He was a no. He was telling John, no, I'm too good for that. Yeah. So what did he have to lose, right? And yeah.
You've also shared different, like, other qualities too. Like if they're saying, no, I'm not interested. Oh, no problem. We're looking for people with high integrity that have a great work ethic anyway. So no problem if it's not for you. He's done that. He's done that. Like, oh, well, if you know somebody.
Yeah, that's another really good one, because someone will do that and I'll say, well, you know what, that's all right, but I'm sure you know someone who's a little more ambitious than you are.
Yeah, he's done that too.
Would you mind if I talk to them?
And I think we've sponsored a couple people, right? And we're not jerks. But if they've already...
I smile.
But if they've told you no, they're going to stay a no. So given a little posture, I guarantee Mark Smith has done stuff like this. I guarantee Dale, I betcha, right? You're not going to let someone walk all over you and bash you, in a sense,
Yeah,
right?
I think,
by saying they're too good for network marketing.
Yeah, I think you get to the point where you know what you've got, and you know what you know, and no one's going to take that from you.
Yeah. And I'd love to, yeah, exactly. And I'd love to interject. I was in Canada once, and I trained on this, and I think some of them were horrified. But I said, don't ever thank someone for
Coming to a market party.
Coming to a market party, right? You guys have to have posture. You're the Bill Gates of your business. For me, in female form. For John, in male, he is Bill Gates, right? You're inviting. Would Bill Gates ever, in a job interview, right, process say, oh, thanks for coming? Heck no. He'd say, glad you showed up, so tell me about yourself, right? You're not, and so when someone comes to a market party, I say, so glad you could make it. That's great, right? But don't thank them, right? They should be thanking you. You have a gift. You're giving, it is posture, right? Seriously. So I think that's what we're trying to get at. I want to make sure. And then Misa did really quick, and then we'll move on to the next one, but I think this is important. Because how many of us have been in for a little bit, right? And you feel like you've gone through your list. We all know we haven't gone through our entire list. But you're 2 a day, right? That's coming from somewhere, right? For the new people, it's coming from your list. But for those of us that have exposed a lot of the list, you're meeting people out and about. That's why we're hitting this hard. Is this helping you guys? Meeting? Okay. So Misa had a really good... what is it, what's the word, exposure, I guess, if you will, at her gym, where she's not the one raving about the product. So Yeah.
Right. So tying into the cold market, I'm on a team. We have a private gym. They're a nonprofit, so they have sort of like corporate employees, only a few. It's a small nonprofit. But I don't know them, right? So she doesn't have a relationship with me. She doesn't have that rapport. So she has only seen me a couple of times. But I was another customer who's on my team, just got EHT last month, and so it was perfect. Her, the woman I don't know, and another teammate were sitting there, and I was like, perfect, I'm going to ask Monica how EHT is going, because she's going to do all the talking, and these two are going to overhear everything, and I say nothing, and I get my exposures in. So I just asked Monica, oh my gosh, did you get your EHT? How's that going? And she was like, I love it. I already added it to my this month's order. It should be coming in the next couple of days. And the woman from the employee immediately goes, oh, what's EHT? And I heard her, but I ignored the question. Kind of like what my dad was saying, if you answer their questions right away, she's just going to check out and be like, okay, I have to go. See you guys later. I wanted her to hear someone else's testimony of how EHT is going. So I just said, oh my gosh, aren't you loving it? And my friend Monica, meanwhile, goes on to say how much she loves it, how much she noticed a change. Her son, who's also on my team, is taking it. And he came up and she was like, Con, how's it going for you? And so it totally I sat there and they got to talk about EHT. This woman is thinking like, what the heck is EHT? And meanwhile, we're all excited and talking about it. The other girl that's on my team is like, have I tried that before? Because she's tried Youth Factor, and she's like, did I try that one? Maybe I should try that. So they're creating a whole conversation with me just asking one question, how's EHT going? And letting Monica and Connor be my third-party tools or my third-party validation. And then the woman goes, well, what brand do you prefer? And I said, well, you can only get it from Nerium, Yeah. So people, they're interested, but it's just piquing their interest. She was so interested because I didn't answer what EHT is. She just got to hear the experiences people were having. If we tell them the technical facts most of the time, they're going to be like, okay, cool, bye. They don't know that they need it. When they hear the actual changes people are experiencing, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping so much better, I'm having more energy and focus, I just have this mental clarity, I don't know how to describe it. People are like, what? I want that, I'm missing that. And she's into fitness, she's talking about how achy she is and how her body's aging and you're lucky and all this stuff. So when she hears someone else's experience, she doesn't even know what EHT is, but she's like, where can I get it?
Yeah.
So she's already asking, and that's exactly kind of this whole cycle.
Yeah. So if you're part of groups of people, that's great. Make sure you're sampling and having people try it in groups of people that you know, basically. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Whether it's a women's group, men's group, golf buddies, whatever. Yeah, definitely. Thanks. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to cover this on the second half when we come back after the break. We're actually going to demonstrate a real results party for you guys. Okay, so yeah. And customer acquisition, I think we need to speed it up a little bit. Is it 11:30? Okay. So basically, I mean, the next slides will go pretty quickly. We know that we share products. Yes, we technically sell, but I think a lot of us are more comfortable saying we share, right? But we are really selling our products for sure, and no different than recommending a restaurant like we talked about, right? A purse, whatever. So what we're going to do is talk about that also later on. We're going to jump right into product knowledge. And basically, this is where I want to hit on retouching the fact that don't tell them all the facts, right? Tell them stories. With every one of your products, tell a story instead of the facts. So like I shared with you John's story. So when I share the night cream, a lot of times I share his story. Or there's a bald guy. Richard's not here, is he? I love to share that with men and women, because how many people know people that are bald, right? And they have a lot of sun damage. And that's but you don't have sun damage. Nerium's working for you. But share something about that, how that's helped them. I like sharing like different total different sides, and not just a typical wrinkle story, because that gets them thinking about other people they know, right, and other issues they have. Pore size on the night cream. I always share Amy Jeffrion's pictures. Holy smokes. And, just show a pore size photo. Day cream. I love sharing the fact that that was really born out of customers begging for it, right? I love sharing that story, that we're not just a company that comes up with products to make money. Our customers were begging for this product. And I know people that put it on 2-3 times a day. They love it that much. So even that kind of a quick story. Eye serum, Misa and I were talking about that this morning. And I actually love to share this story, and we all know it works under the eye, right? We talk about that all the time, the dark circles, the puffiness, the bags. But how about telling him a story of somebody, and now you can share my story. I have the droopy eye syndrome, I call it. My mother has that. She actually thought about having surgery because there's just extra skin, right? And I know Asians have that same thing where it can lay on their eyelid, and it's annoying, and you feel tired. Sorry, you don't have it.
Now she's getting all racial on us.
And I can get away with saying Asian because I am Asian, right? Well, there was a big joke in our family that I said I was Asian once. But anyway, but tell my story. I actually use the eye serum in the mornings, and it pulls my eyelids back, right? I'm getting thumbs up from other people doing the same, and it works as a great foundation, eyeshadow foundation. Your eyeshadow stays all day, right? And use it all, right? That is true. A lot of people are adding eye serum to the day cream. Have you guys heard that? Do a couple pumps of eye serum to your day cream, put it all over the face. It's helping, right? Crazy good. So that could be a great story. Misa was doing this one, I think. Yeah.
The patches. Okay, who loves the patches? Yes, I know. I love asking that because then the whole room gets excited. But a funny story, honestly, when we came out with these at Spotlight, I was like, eye patches? What is that? And it really was like, that's our product. And now I'm addicted to them. Like, I would wear them every day if I could. And this one, I was just going back to people at my gym because that's who I'm surrounded by the most, But my friend Monica, who's using EHT, she started with the eye patches. And she would text me pictures of her wearing them, like just sitting on the couch wearing them. She would have Connor, her son, take a picture and send it to Misa. She stopped me after a plane flight to Reno for a competition, was like, oh my gosh, everyone needs these after a flight. I brought mine, I'm so excited. She just recently got married, and her husband trains with us too, and he was like, oh, those things are awesome. And he's like this little, Okinawan guy, he looks like a little samurai. And he was like, oh, those things are the best. So the eye patches, again, just sharing stories about how everyone loves them, all ages, and you guys are seeing them out. Other brands are starting to do eye patches, and you know how much more amazing ours are, a better price point, they're clear, you can wear them. I wear them in the car under sunglasses, you can share it with people that you can wear them wherever, And then the firm, a lot of people have asked me, just because of my previous background with bodybuilding, and they'll say, oh my gosh, we know how the firm works for everyone. We've shared pictures of women using it on their stomach after having children, or for cellulite on the back of their legs, or guys wanting to tone up their stomach and six-pack. But I also like to share, coming from a fitness background, I believe so much in proper nutrition and exercise, and our firm product complements that. So I always love to say that because I think there's a lot of skepticism out there with cellulite creams, and I've heard it from different people, and they're like, oh yeah, those things, just diet and exercise. And so many people say that, and I agree, but at some point, certain things, having kids, the stomach isn't going to go back to where it was. There's certain things that our product is working amazingly for. And even for people in fitness, bodybuilders, they'll do anything to have that extra edge when they're going on stage. So anything to get their skin looking tighter and firmer. So I know a lot of people in fitness have also added the firm just for that extra benefit. So just wanted to share that little.
awesome. And really quick, back to the patches. Who's wearing them out in public right now? That's right. To honestly, the whole point you're wearing them, yes, they feel great, but you want to generate interest, right? Are you guys actually going? That's what we've been teaching our team to do, yeah. And people are saying something. Have you guys noticed? Yeah. Who's gotten a contact information after wearing them out? Yeah. Awesome, right? And if they don't say something, because they'll look at you funny, right? If they don't say anything, out yourself. Just say, I know I look a little crazy, right? But man, these things work. And then be quiet, like John says. Pique their interest. What are those? Yeah, I've seen something like that, but they're pink on other people. So it just gets that going, and just say, I got to run, but this one, I know the ingredient is from Princeton, and all I know is, gosh, that's got to be better than anything else out there. I think I've got the name. I can send you, if you give me your contact info, right? You're not saying you have a business, none of that. I know I have the name in my car, right? And get their information and send it to them. So I love that. It's a great way to generate interest. Okay, and then who's loving the Illuma Boost and the cleanser, right? We all know that. Oh, we keep sneaking off. Was that going to be John? It was going to be me.
Oh, yeah, that's going to be me.
But you have to tell the face wash.
I'll do the face wash one.
Yeah.
Actually, Misa, you should do the face wash one about me, huh?
So when the face wash came out, at conference, we were all staying together, the four of us, with my brother. And you know how we first time ever getting the product at conference, so everyone's pumped, and we just waited in line for it, and we run back to the hotel room. And who's the first person to use the face wash? My dad. The least likely that you would probably think. And he runs in the bathroom, washes his face. We're all talking about whatever else we heard. We're super pumped. He runs out of the bathroom and goes, feel my face. And he's like, it's so soft. And we were just like.
And we did. We all run over.
Are you our father? Because he shared, he used shampoo to wash his face before.
Yeah, exactly. That was my face wash, was shampoo. And this was so much better, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Way better.
Yeah. But of course, Vikki being so excited about Nerium all the time, he also made a comment, is this what I've been missing my whole life, right? And so I had to say, no, because nobody has a dual cleanser that's oil and water, remember?
So I'm going, okay.
Yeah, and I had to explain, honestly, isn't it silky, you guys, because of the oil and water? Most of us that have used cleansers, it feels dry after. So I want to make sure he knew, you haven't been missing it, because Nerium's the first to have it. So, well, you guys know and love, you guys have a ton of Illuma Boost stories. Oops, I think I pushed it again. Okay, we're good. Oh, I did accidentally push it again. Okay.
And just to wrap up the wellness products now, you guys are using them, loving them. We've shared a little bit. Of course, this is what I'm passionate about, and I love sharing it. You heard my story of EHT. Youth Factor is so easy to sample. You guys are sampling it, yes? Yeah, awesome. So again, just stories. I love sharing stories about every product, like we've said, rather than listing the ingredients, listing, the benefits or what it's going to do. It's great to hit on a couple, but people are going to connect to stories, and they're going to connect to, oh my gosh, she's doing this or she's doing that. So I use all of our products, but for me, I'm experiencing, as a weightlifter, I actually train twice a day with my coach, so I need my recovery to be on point. We're not just, going to the gym and doing some lat pull downs and a little leg press here and there. It's such a full body workout that it's very taxing. And even times you don't realize it, and you'll kind of go home and just be so tired. I don't know how else to describe it. My brother used to come home and sleep for hours after training. And I was like, why does John sleep all the time? He slept for 10 hours last night. Why is he asleep again? And it wasn't until I started weightlifting that I realized how taxing it is having 200, 300, 400 pounds actually on your body. That I've realized, oh, that's why. And at first, first, when I started training, I definitely had that downtime, but I added EHT as soon as it came. And I've noticed that after training, I don't go home and feel like I need to take a 3-hour nap because I'm so exhausted that I can actually keep going. I have that natural energy. So that's been my experience, and it's been huge because my teammates will come into the gym the next day and be like, oh my gosh, the volume's killing me. Like, I can't move my legs. I'm having trouble walking up the stairs. And I'm like, oh, I'm fine. And I'm one of the only ones that trains twice a day. So even more so, you would expect me to be in their situation. So I attribute that just honestly to EHT and to Youth Factor now, just proper supplementation that's giving me that natural energy and really helping me in that. So that's a story you guys can share. I know you guys have amazing other EHT stories that aren't around athletes. You know, it's not, I know I'm talking about athletes all the time, but that's where I come from. We have amazing stories of children. My mom has an amazing story of my grandma. I don't know if you were going to share that.
Yeah, I was just going to, sorry, I'll put this down. We can't make medical claims, as you all know, but you guys can have people connect the dots, right? So when I'm sharing with somebody about EHT, I am passionate. My mom has Alzheimer's, and it was early onset for quite a few years, and just this last January, she had a major episode, fell. We actually thought we were going to lose her. And she was hallucinating. She wouldn't do any of the physical therapy, and she was really declining. And it was at that point I asked my dad, who's a PhD chemical engineer from Princeton, right? And it's like, Dad, this is your university. He was so excited when EHT came out. He still didn't take our word for it, though, you know, being he went through the white papers. He did all of that. So he's been taking it. Was he giving it to my mom? No, because because she didn't want to take another pill, and I think he didn't want the wrath of my mom. She's stubborn.
I can understand that.
I knew that was coming. But I had to have a come to Jesus moment with him. Sad to say, he's 84, and I had to say, Dad, are you serious right now? Maybe it won't reverse anything with Mom, but what if it stops the progression of where she's at? So, and he was like this, okay, Vic, you know? And then before you knew it, about 3 weeks later, I was at their house, and she was completely different. She was recognizing the kids, which she had stopped talking about our kids, wasn't it? Just saying, you and John, you know, how are you and John? Never asking about Misa and John. She was back to her old self. I could go on. And I went over to my dad. I go, you've been giving it to her, haven't you? And he's all, yeah. I put it, because I asked him to just crush it up and put it in her food. He didn't do that, but he put it in her pill boxes. How simple could that have been for years, that he would just put it in there and she'd take it, right? But the way I'm saying to connect the dots, we know this product. I mean, you guys all have story after story after story, right? PTSD, depression, all kinds of things that you're hearing, how EHT is working for people. John told me how to say it. He said, Vic, just bring up the fact that the two main contributors to all the research and development in the beginning, the two biggies, there were more, right? But was the Alzheimer's Foundation and the Michael J. Fox Foundation, right? They can connect the dots. You're not making a medical claim whatsoever. And, why not try this product for your brain health, right? So anyway, I love that you can just have people connect the dots themselves. And we have all the white papers, so, yeah. Oh, I've got the clicker. We were going to have our youth factor. Are we going to have our youth factor? But I don't know.
It's youth factor time.
Yeah.
So everybody, if you brought it, let's do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's take a 2-minute break. Everybody make their youth factor if you want. That was our intent, every hour to give you a little mind break for a second. So, but we didn't do it. It's been an hour and 40. So, okay. No, seriously, if you brought it, stir it up. This one's mine. Oh, I thought, no, I've been drinking more. Okay. So you... I think we have to go a lot faster now.
Stretch a little.
Yeah, stretch. Feel free to stand up and stretch really quick. We're almost done with the first half. Don't leave, because at the half you'll get to definitely use the restroom. And don't drink alone, right? We've all determined that. Don't wear your eye patches alone, and don't drink alone anymore. Yeah. Okay. All right, come on back. I think I lost him. Okay, so is everybody mentally refocused? His hair is right. Okay, so the 90-day challenge, I think we have a couple winners in the room. That's what I wanted to point out, right? Is if you've won in the past, or your PC has won in the past, or at any point, would you stand up if you've been a 90-day challenge? Yes, Teresa is right now. And Gina's father won the second place, right? First place. And Teresa won first place and is the current winner right now, you guys, right? Yay, with the Illuma Boost. So now, and she's wearing her eye patches. I see them. So you guys use that story. Make sure your customers are turning in their photographs, right? And any of you can do the same. I've also noticed people from the past that started Nerium 5 years ago are resubmitting. Keep resubmitting. You can do that as long as it's 90 days, for sure. Who wouldn't like to win that $3,000? All right. This is one of our last slides before we bring our fabulous host back up. And I think John was going to hit it.
Oh, yeah. So new people look at this and think, wow, that's a lot. And really, is it that much? Because some of them are yearly, some of them are monthly, like you're at a regional here, right? So give yourselves a hand. You guys already checked that off, right? Outstanding. But even if you can't do all 10, and for a new person, if they can't do all 10, if they can just do a couple of them, and then they can work into it. And I think, but what's the most important one, right? It's going to be the number 2 up there, commit to 2 a day. Because your business is never going to grow unless you start exposing people, unless you start doing that, right? So I would say at least get new people started on some of it. Don't make them eat that whole big chunk all at one time, but just get them started on some of it, and we'll get them into it as they go along.
Who would admit that they're 10 core all the way? Yeah. Awesome, right? Who's willing to admit you're working on it and you know that you're going to make that a priority? Right? Because it definitely is long term. You want to do all of it. And I love the baby steps, right? It's just like when you have a baby brand partner, you're not going to you have a baby, you're not going to try to feed it regular food right away. It's, right? It's going to be.
And you're not going to give up under a year.
Right, exactly. Right, very good.
Right, yeah.
Take it out.
How important is that?
I love that one. Be here a year from now. Give yourself a chance and give yourself some grace. Let yourself learn along the way, but know that you're going to be here a year from now. Don't set, I'll try it out for a month or 2. I've had brand partners do that. And a month or 2, like you're a baby. You barely are figuring this out. You're having mistakes. I always say, just get out there and if you mess it up, you mess it up. But there's nothing you can really mess up, in an exposure. If they're a friend, you can turn it around. If they're a cold market, you're never going to see them again anyway. But give yourself at least a year. And the way I see that is it's a year from every day I'm in. So for me, it's never ending. For me, it's a year from today, and tomorrow it's a year from tomorrow. So it doesn't end. It's not, on November 11th of 2018, if it works, cool. If it didn't work, I'm out, because my year is always advancing forward.